Hey folks, how you doing? Leo Naranjo, the fourth candidate for governor 2026. What am I looking at? I'm looking at the pigeon photo bombing that's going on behind me out here when I'm in my backyard. Katie Porter moment. Hey, get out of my shot! You know that stuff. Again, Leo Naranjo, the fourth candidate for governor, California 2026 race. How are you guys doing today? How's the X world? How's the internet? How's social media? Today's topic, social media. Interesting, no? Long time ago, I was told nothing happens in a vacuum in politics. There are no coincidences in the political world. Could be true. Might be true. Some of you probably heard that before. Some of you probably have not. Things don't seem to happen in a vacuum. Matter of fact, they almost seem to be aligned, conjoined. Suspiciously so that certain people notice nuances. Hell, for those of you old enough to remember, way back when, in the olden days, circa 1960s, you had somebody missing on the Soviet grandstand. The world was abuzz on who got whacked, who was going to replace who, and what happened to so-and-so. Somebody put a handkerchief up their nose, sniffed, whatever it is that they were doing. People were wondering, is that man sick? Is his time nearly up? So on and so forth down the line. Well, this is one of those instances. There is some of you making noise now on the internet that certain individuals seem to be paying off certain of these so-called, what the hell are their names now? Influencers? Influencers. That must be a new term. Make a lot of noise, folks, to me on the internet, online. They post often about everything. Well, there's a hummingbird. Let's see if you can see him right there. Oh, he left. Yes, it was a Republican moment as a supporter. I don't know if you caught that or not. Hopefully you did. But back to my train of thought. These so-called podcast people post about everything. Constant noise. Blah, 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 blah. They got thousands of followers. Blah, 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 blah. Hey, Bob farted in San Francisco. What do you think? Gavin Newsom is shrill. What do you think? Hey, worse off than the regular media people. Mila Joy seems to be one of them. She's suddenly knee-deep on the Hilton bandwagon. Young lady named Kira, she's knee-deep in the Hilton bandwagon. A lot of the, Mike Netter, that's another interesting individual. He's nutcase, bat, whatever you want to call it, on the Hilton bandwagon. My God, the greatest thing since sliced bread. What do these people have that make them so convinced this is the guy? A check? Promise? Money? Influence? Hey, you folks are online. His wife is an online personality. I'm not saying there's anything there, but some people are making the comments that it's awful weird how all of these name droppers are suddenly dropping names religiously, in spite of some of the misgivings about that particular candidate, i.e. Mr. Hilton. Very strange. No matter what is said, you are all for the guy. 1,000%. Advanced dumbass disease is real. Man wants to push reparations in the state, and you're okay with this. The man is pro-abortion, and you're okay with this. Oh, he says he's not. He makes all kinds of platitudes or whatever. I've got some posters out there, though, former Republican candidates who are taking what was said by that same individual not less than a year ago and hanging his words out there to dry for the world to look at. Nobody seems to be noticing except a few of us. Why is that? Man for man, blinded by the light? Do you not see or do you not care to see? I understand the man was challenged on an AB 1333, from what I understand, and that was the ability to give homeowners the right to shoot their intruders, and he seemed to back away from that one. This is an anti-gun guy from England. Why the hell would he be pro-gun all of a sudden here in America? strange. Yep. Pro-gay marriage, over traditional marriage. We have to get along with the fact that they're marrying and we're not, is what he exclaimed. Stood right there on a Pat Nixon forum, a governor forum in Yorba Linda, California, in front of a room of nearly 100 some odd people, highly placed women, most of you were. I promise, I pledge, I will reduce government in California. Ombudsperson for 2A rights, ombudsperson for medical rights, Department of Doge, California, whatever the hell that is, and now we have a person in charge of the anti-sex trafficking in California. 4 brand new departments. He's not even governor. Imagine how many more he'll create for your benefit if he became governor. But that wasn't the pledge he made. He said he was going to help reduce government size in California, not grow it. And that's what he's doing, is growing it. I've likened it more to this. Oh, if you got a question for me, I'm Steve Hilton. I'm running for governor. We're going to have a golden shower here. You just don't know it yet. But if you got a question for me, don't ask me. Ask my Department of Questions. And if you want to answer, then you have to go to the Department of Getting an Answer. Because I don't have any answers. I've got to go to platitudes. And if you're not sure what to ask me, reach behind me then you'll see the Department of I don't know what to ask you, so I'll ask a question. And in the formulated it all down, we'll have to go this pathway. If you want a question asked, you to go to this department. In order to get an answer, you have to see that gentleman over there. But if you're not sure, speak to the lady behind me, and I'm sure somewhere down the road of life, your question will be answered. It's just not going to be from me, because I'll be over here stumping for somebody else. Sounds a little flippant, sounds a little rude, but hey, this is politics, right? Wife is missing, questions on her ability to even be an American citizen, questions for her even to be able to vote. Oh, no, that's taken care of. She's renounced citizenship. Oh, I said so. Because I said so, I'm Steve Hilton. I used to be on Fox News. I helped England blow itself up by writing the policies, which made it the crap hole nation that it is today. You can't do this online in England, you'd be in jail. That's the guy. Well, okay, there's that. But now people are commenting on the shrills, vouching for this man, the nuances vouching for this man, whether or not they're getting paid, they get promised, they're doing whatever it is they're doing, 1,000% behind Steve Hilton. Are the demos propping you up? Is the Republicans propping you up? There's no objectivity anywhere there. George Patton used to say, if everybody's thinking alike, nobody's thinking. Well, hell, if the shrills online, the so-called influencers, are all in lockstep, something's wrong, in spite of evidence to the contrary. And the funniest thing I see happened on the 20th of March, not more than 2 days ago. We're getting ready to do the first demo, bigwig demo meeting, what they call the debate stage, where you're actually going to maybe see the coward Chad Bianco, yes, I called him that, and will continue to call him that, Steve Hilton, and 4 other Democrat nominees on stage. Leo, they're going to open up a debate. That's not a debate. That's a Democrat sausage fest. They're not there to highlight the 2 Republican candidates. They could care less about those 2 gentlemen. What they're looking for is to set the tone for the Democrats to figure out who they need. And now you have the Democrat race card played. Oh my gosh, there's no minorities on that stage. Steve Hilton says, well, if you want to be on the stage, you got to be better. You got to do better. You got to act better. You got to pretend to be better. You got to do something to get on the stage. They cheated for Mahan. Well, of course they did. As your buddy, how much influence did you carry with that one? Allegedly. You and I will never know because we don't know who's setting up these parameters, what they are, what's being done behind closed doors. We just know that the demos are taking this to a debate in a demo stronghold with a demo audience and 2 Republicans there, nilly-willy, with their 4 major candidates. Now, today, the demo call-out is for all the major player candidates to be there. Matt Mahan, I think we should all just have a big kumbaya. You should bring them all on stage. And there should be an equal number of the Republicans for those others that you bring on stage. Matter of fact, this 4-on-2 crap, there should be 2 other Republicans there on stage. Now, I'm not sure what you would give our criteria because nobody looks at the other Republican candidates. Oh, this is by fundraising. Well, I'd be screwed. Oh, this is by the positioning. Well, I'd be screwed again. Well, we don't like you. Okay. I'm not running for you to like me, but okay. Maybe we should have the criteria that the only people that can be on that stage are former military people. Oh, there's a new one. Nobody's pushed that envelope, have they? I think that'd be a great thing to do. Push the fact who's been cleared by the federal government for the highest levels of secrecy. Nobody on that stage has been there. I'm starting to think, short of a congressman or 2, I'm probably one of the few people on a stage that can claim that they've been background checked by the FBI to acquire a top secret clearance. Didn't know that about me, did you? 14 years I held that puppy. Well, unless you're a businessman, it doesn't matter. You don't know anything. Are you serious? Put a businessman in charge of their business. Of course they're going to do good. It's their money. Put a business charge and put in charge of California. Now they're playing with our money. And how many years have we seen what those people are doing with our money? Not a very good outpouring, is it? Not a very good showing, is it? Gino Gavin's supposedly a businessman. Look what he's done to this state. It only took him 7 years, but we were long on this path many, many, many years ago. So back to old Steve-O. Have you noticed, ladies and gentlemen, especially on X, now I'm not too sure about the other platforms, but definitely on X, on Twitter. When Steve Hilton posts, there's Chad right behind him. When Chad Bianco posts, there's Steve Hilton right behind him. They're like the 2 words jock, strap. Lockstep, one behind the other. Coincidence? For over a year, over 2 years, this has been going on. Hand in hand, lockstep. Now, I'm not conspiracy theorist reading into this, but it's politics, right? There are no coincidences in politics. Bianco puts out a chart. I'm 17% up on the sheriff. Steve Hilton's down 15% right below me. Steve Hilton puts out a post almost within hours. I'm at 17%. Chad Bianco's right behind me. 15, 16. If you followed the musings of their polling, and some of you won't because you're shrills and we already know who you are, you'll notice, depending on who says what at any given particular time, and I challenge some of you people out there to go back and look up all these posts with all these polling numbers for the last couple of years, you'll find neither of those two gentlemen have gotten very far beyond the 15% level, fluctuating. Steve was even dumb enough to put out there one time he was a 47%. Well, that means you lost 30% since, and that was just last year. So which is it, old boy? Did you lose 30 points or did you lose 2? Depending on who you ask or who's paying for the polls. Bianco, the coward, is now going to go to a debate. Oh, wait, he's going to debate with Steve on a demo stage. He can't do it with a Republican, but he can go and parlay with the demos. Again, for those of you that are interested and who care, go back, look up Fox News 11, Tony Thurman versus Chad Bianco, debate one-on-one. And you'll see how embarrassed Mr. Thurman, what a job he did on old Chad. In less than 30 minutes. Now either the cowardly sheriff got better, but I don't think so, or he has been husbanded through this process and protected from showing up to any more debates where he keeps getting his ass in trouble. Kim Yeater's function had a recent debate that was put online where he was actually attacking the people asking the questions about his indiscretions with BLM. I like to call it the mob. Let's not play the race card here. They're already doing it on the other side, the race card. Ooh. But I want to stand with some of those complaints. Hey, I think all Hispanics should be represented on there. By golly, there should be a Hispanic, and I'm one of them. Didn't know that about me either, did you? Yes, we should have a Hispanic on the Republican side on that stage. Let's put 2 of them up there, the woman and the male. That would be Gretha Solizano. I think she's the female version of Hispanics, and I'm the male version of Hispanics. And that would balance out the field 4-on-4. Yes, it would. That's a good thing, right? That's what they claim. But Republicans right now, and Steve Hilton is in the front because he's a fighter. He's got this down pat. Mr. Policy Writer is fighting for equity and equality. By all means, we should have more people on that stage. And he drug out of the woodwork Elaine Cullotti, the no party preference person. Wow. I would say he near endorsed her happy ass to be on that stage, but I don't want to go that far because it wasn't really an endorsement. Is he arguing for her? Well, of course he's arguing for her to be there. You can do that. Even though the Republican Party is probably going to look at you like, what the hell are you doing and why? Because I know I am as a Republican. Why are you stumping for no party preference people to be on a stage? The whole reason why there's no party preference. Because they don't believe in either party, dude. And that has been raised as an issue on the campaign trail for over the last 2 years. If you want to get on the debate stage, create your own debate for your party. Or you just have, like, as you claim, well, do better at it. Go harder. Your no party preference candidates. Be on that stage as no party preference. Have all your no party preference people there. Debate to your happy ass content. Republicans do not bring in no party preference candidates to Republican functions. Steve, you, of all people, should already know this. I think you stated in your post she was the top NPP. Dude, you're so far off the mark. I almost said a word about you, too. Ooh, let me pull that one back. That's a little offensive. She just jumped in the race about 2 months ago. The funny part, folks, is that she tried to help me out, but because I wouldn't give her a plan B or C, withheld her support and people she supposedly knew unless I could come up with something more concrete. But one of the things I needed to be aware of was that I needed to drop out or else I would risk splitting the vote. What the hell do you think you're doing, Elaine? You sure as hell aren't coalescing the vote for the Republican side. That's why you're no party preference. You were worried about splitting the vote over a year and a half ago. Why don't you take your ass out of the race, and that way we don't have to worry about that little problem anymore. But no, you're now knee-deep into the race, and you got Steve Hilton stumping for you? That's not a coincidence. Because all of us on the campaign trail know the name that has been on the no party preference candidate list as number one for that group has been Lewis Herms. But he wasn't mentioned. Because he's not rich enough, because he's not powerful enough, because he's not influential enough, because he's not good enough, because he's not this, because he's not that. I tell you this, Lewis Herms was not invited to that stage by Mr. Hilton, and supposedly we've been on stages together. Herms has been running in the race for at least the last year and a half. I'm not stumping for him. He can hold his own. And he's a no party preference candidate. Everyone's well aware of that. He makes no bones about it. He says where he is. He does what he does. God bless him too. We have talked together on forums. We have come to a mutual respect into each other's positions on certain topics. We both have information on how to approach certain topics to the benefit of all, not the exclusive benefit of one or the other. But let's not make any contentions about it, ladies and gentlemen. When you do something working with somebody, you're getting something out of it. So there is a little selfishness involved. It's just a degree of which a person wants to take it. Now, I don't know what Mr. Herms will say on this next statement, but I will make it anyway. Yes, we have talked about child trafficking. He and I both came from our levels of experience in our areas of expertise. We both have a vision to fix it, just different pathways of how to get there. That's called debate and negotiation. So we have a purpose because we both see the threat. Elaine Cullotti? Ooh. Steve Hilton's pushing her. Let me tell you about Steve Hilton pushing Elaine Cullotti, what that means. Americans have a very long memory. It's just short in application. Last time that I met Elaine Cullotti in Sacramento was in September 2024 at the recall rally sponsored by Randy Economy. This is Elaine Cullotti, lipstick farmer, this quiet billionaire, the TV show personality. TV show personality. Going to the convention later that year, my wife comes to find out, wow, she got a net worth of over $200 million. $200 million. Talked to a few friends about what's happening. Nah, she's only got 20 in the bank. Well, $20 million is still a lot of money for middle-class people. Be that as it may, good for her. It has an interesting history, if you read up about it. Started from nothing, had nothing, worked herself up. Now she's rich and famous. The American dream, God bless you. Listening to her talk there on the stage in Sacramento, interesting, neat conversation. Look up the video, it's out there. See that one for yourself. What folks did not see or they didn't catch was when she started going down the path of illegal aliens. And there, the hairs on my neck started to stand up. This woman used the buzzwords of amnesty. And the more she spoke, the more crystal clear it became that's exactly what she's about, amnesty. Now, in today's world, especially here in California, we come to the fork in the road where folks have to make that decision. Allow it or don't. But if you're whining and pining about how much it costs because you don't have and they get and you can't, then stop complaining and go down the road that says we allow it. Suck it up, Buttercup. It's what you wanted. But if you want this fixed or attempted to be fixed, then you have to go down the other path on how we get them out of the state, self-wise, deported-wise, whatever the case might be. And don't forget, 33,000 people are languishing in our prison system here in California, according to DHS, that has demanded those folks be turned over to ICE via the detainer route. Have we done it? Nope. Any news about it? Nope. Did we forget about that topic? Sure have. Nobody's talking about those people in jail that are still in our jails, that are still here. Well, they fired Kristi Noem, so that doesn't matter now, does it? It's 33,000 prisoners in jail. So between now and the time Gino gets out of office, that's 33,000 people with the potential to be released by an idiot governor on his way out the door, that the feds could remove to help alleviate some of our problems. Excuse me. And Hilton is stumping for this woman to be on a debate stage, to protect him from having to answer questions. And that's like using a woman as a shield, Steve. When you come down to it, you throw her up there to the wolves so that you don't have to answer anything. Well, that's an interesting strategy. You should do that with your wife, because people are calling for her to start showing up and being available, but she's not. And maybe somebody out there can go and research this a little bit deeper than where I've gone from what I've seen. What the hell was that little thing called Cuties online, the internet sensation, where girls were in provocative clothing and they looked to be the age of 8 to 12 years of age? Rachel helped cover that up, allegedly. Smooth over the bad feelings that people got from looking at that. The man nilly-willy wants to change our Constitution to allow him to let California declare bankruptcy to fix our pension problem. That's what we want in this state. Wow. Some folks are starting to backpedal a little bit now on Steve, just like they're starting to backpedal a little bit now on Mr. Mahan. Oh, he put out a nice rip-roaring post about embracing the Ramadan festivities. Ramadan. Where have I heard that before? Islam. Tap into your memory banks again, people that are out there. Do you remember what Ron DeSantis just pulled off in Florida a little while ago? Got it passed in his state, if not outright by executive order in his state. Outlawed the Muslim Brotherhood. Put CAIRN, think that's them? Put them on notice. So what the hell? He's embracing the Islamic stuff now too. They say Rachel's embracing the Islamic stuff. Oh, damn. That's a big problem running up and down in the States, according to some people. And now we're embracing it here in California. I'm not sure if you understand what you did, Mr. Mahan, but I think you just pissed off a lot of Democrats with that move. You've definitely pissed off some Republicans with that move. Steve's now embracing a woman that embraces Amnesty, and him and the sheriff, damn near buddy-buddy. As they said in the military, make your buddy smile. When they said pack it in, that's exactly what they meant, pack it in to that nearness. So yeah, here we are. Stumping for no party preference person on debate stage. Hell, you might as well invite her down to the frickin' GOP convention, Steve. She could speak for you, or after you, or before you, or in between you and Bianco. And I'm looking at that rule too. Let me bring some of you folks up to speed on what happened at the Pat Nixon event. Leo, you're an SOB. Yeah, I've been accused of that many a times. Called everything under the sun from A to Z. Got a letter, got a lady in my backside now about how obtruse I am. Folks, I'm not here to be liked. I'm running to win this state to help fix it from the brokenness that we keep seeing day after day after day from what Gino and the Democrat Party have done to it. That's not going to win me friends when I go in there to kick ass, take names, and get corrections made. If that's what you're looking for, maybe you need to be those type of individuals who don't vote. Sit it out. Because we need people to think and understand what the hell they're doing and what they're voting for. Pat Nixon event. Glad to have been able to have gone down there. Glad to have met some of the people there. Glad to have spoken to the one that I'm now seemingly having an issue with online. I don't get it. She don't get it. We're both at the place where we can both say now we're going to agree to disagree and call it a day. She's who she is and I'm who I am. She's going to vote her conscience. God bless you. Do what you do. That's what you vote for. That's what I helped defend was your opportunity to cast a ballot. But on that stage, the Pat Nixon stage, if you look at my video that I put out about that, part 1 of the Pat Nixon Governor Forum, you'll find at you'll find that they read the rules in the opening statement. Mr. Guerrero read those rules quite elegantly. Any candidate that uses another candidate's name have now allowed that candidate to take an additional 60 seconds to respond with no challenges forthcoming. In short, you just gave the person an extra minute to talk and you don't get to respond to whatever they say. He was very clear on those instructions. He was also very clear with the warning. Don't do that as a tactic because it might backfire and you give your opponent a little edge. Now, the unwritten rule, only if you're attacked. If somebody calls you out and attacks you, that's okay. But that's an unwritten gentleman's agreement. This is politics, ladies and gentlemen. Now, at that particular point of time, we were discussing unions, and I made my spiel about the union problem. And we all had our chance to speak. I spoke in front of Steve Hilton at that point. I made my stance on the union problem. Bankruptcy was not in my language, but it was in his. You'll see his portion of the conversation at the 30.00 to 30.3035 second point in the video. Now, my wife got a little embarrassed, cut the video feed, because I drew the ear of the crowd when Steve Hilton invoked my name. Gave me a congratulatory, said I had some wonderful ideas, applaud him, yay. But when we get ready to move on, I said, hey, excuse me, wait a minute. He invoked my name, and I'm challenging for that minute. Leo, my God, are you so arrogant and obnoxious you can't even take a compliment? Didn't have anything to do with being complimented. Didn't have anything to do with being arrogant. Didn't have anything to do with being egotistical. Go back to the start of that video and listen to the rules that were defined. It did not say use your name in an aggressive way, in an attack way, in a derogatory way. It said use the name of. And I called him on that rule. And shortly after my wife cut me off on the video, shortly after she did that, and the crowd was all pissed off at me because they thought I was the biggest a-hole ever to be on a stage with real people. The parliamentarian from Oceanside, the guy with clout, the Republican that everybody knew and respected, issued his final say on that matter. The rule is the rule as it was read. It didn't say the spirit. This was the rule. And he called you on it, which is his right to do. And Mr. Naranjo is correct. His name was evoked, which gives him 60 extra seconds to speak. And then he added in, we're not the Democratic Party where we bend the rules to our favor and move on. We're the Republican Party where we uphold the rules of law and we make the corrections and then we move forward. And suddenly there's a big applause for that moment. Well, I wasn't the big asshole after all, pardon my French. And when it came to my time to speak, I did acknowledge that Mr. Hilton gave me a compliment. Yes, I did. Check the video. And I also took exception with the fact that as the only member on that stage who used to be in a union, how I would deal with handling unions. What I didn't catch, and I forgot till I looked at it later, was him making the statement of needing, even though it's an illegal act, of needing to amend the Constitution to be able to declare bankruptcy to fix the pension problem, null and voiding the contracts. Now, people are going to glom on to the fact that he's talking about the contracts, null and void, fix our pension problem. They're going to argue on this point of the discussion because we've missed this point that he made. We can't see the forest for the trees, ladies and gentlemen. The point that was made was even though it was illegal, we have to amend the Constitution. Now, let me be a little crude here in definition. So we're going to wipe our ass with the most sacred piece of paper second to the Bible in the country because we can't fix a financial burden on our own? Am I the only person that sees that as an issue? That you want to take the Constitution and alter it, amend it, nilly-willy, to fix a financial burden for you today? And what happens, pray tell, if we have the situation in time where now the Democrat Party is in charge, kind of like what they are now, and they want to make amendments to the Constitution as well to fit their template? Let's ban guns, alter the Constitution. Let's enshrine harder abortion, alter the Constitution. Let's lengthen the time frame we can have abortions, alter the Constitution. Do you see where I'm going with this? I reported it to the news media. They don't care. They're all for Steve Hilton. Reported it to Fox. They don't care. That's their guy. That is a problem where you think the most sacred document in the country and this state, again, second only to the Bible, is to be construed to your child's homework paper and dallied with whenever you feel like it. It's not. And maybe Mr. Hilton forgot about the oath that he took in running for office when he affirmed his status and turned in all his paperwork. That little thing they gave you at the office, the Register of Voters office, Steve? To uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic? Did you have meaning in that, or did you just say the words like the scripts you're so used to saying back when you were a policy writer, back when you pretended to be on Fox News doing whatever the hell you were doing there? Because it sounds like you just read words off of paper to satisfy the moment, but you have no real meaning or investment into those words. They don't mean nothing to you. It's words on paper. That is our problem. And we have people who are so ingrained to winning at all costs that they've already sold their soul and they're ready to sell this nation and this state up the creek so they can say we got a Republican in office. I don't care how crappy they are. At least we got one in there. Well, hell, using that mentality, if Adolf Hitler was alive today, as long as he was an R and winning in the polls, that's our guy. That's our guy. Yeah, he's got a little problem with Jews, but we can look past that one. Everybody's got a problem with something somewhere. Is that the mentality? Go back and look at the Republican platform and tell me how much of that platform you've already null and voided endorsing Mr. Hilton. And I'm starting to look up those rules too. A lot of endorsements coming out of the Republican Party. Are they from central committees? Because I don't think you can actually do that, according to the bylaws, unless you've notified everybody on the candidate listing that you're getting ready to take a vote. And I can tell you, number one, all the ones that have already made endorsements, you didn't notify my happy ass. You're required to notify all candidates to give them a chance to come down and speak prior to you casting that ballot. And you didn't. I'll be posting that up kind of shortly, what our bylaws say in regards to that very topic. I'm going to let other people with much more legal experience than myself check it out and look into it. I will tell you naysayers this, when it comes up to the GOP convention, I'm going to survive 3 rounds. 3 rounds of voting is what I'll survive in this process against people who said, with all the fury they could muster and confidence that they had, you will never, ever be allowed to speak on that stage, because we will prevent it. You're telling that to a military veteran running for office that you yourself couldn't even have the gonads to stand up and fight for if you were so hot and bothered about saving this state? 3 rounds, folks, from people who told me I would never even get where I'm at today. And while we're looking at that democratic process, let me remind some of you out there, I think I read it correctly, 60% have to agree or vote on picking a nominee of the people present. It doesn't say dilly shit about proxies. And it doesn't talk about standing in proxies, giving votes to those present. It said 60% of those present. A proxy is not a presence. That vote goes with the person who's not at the convention. That's going to be very interesting. And I want you all to know here and now, given what I've read so far, Bianco and Hilton both have enough to speak at the convention. They've wormed their way through the delegates to do that, whether they paid for, coerced, bought, influenced, whatever the case might be, bribed, looked impressive. Hell, I don't know. Whatever the template was, 60% of the present delegates have to vote in favor of one or the other to make an endorsing vote. From what I'm seeing, we're not going to be endorsing anybody unless it goes back to the board of directors, and then they need 2/3 of a vote to pick a candidate. My, isn't that going to be interesting to see how that process plays out? You talk about some dirty politics getting ready to happen at the GOP convention? Crunch the numbers, folks. And if I'm wrong, prove it in April. But I don't think I'm wrong. And I think what I'm getting ready to do, if I haven't done so already, is piss some of you people off. And it's not because of what I've said, it's the mere fact that I'm saying it. My name is Leo Naranjo IV. Today is a wonderful Sunday, and we will talk to you later. Have a great afternoon.